Dear students, in the last class we have studied nucleus, composition of the nucleus, nuclear properties, binding energy and binding energy curve. Let us study nuclear forces. See, nuclear forces. See, what are nuclear forces? Who binds the nucleons inside the nucleus? See, what a nucleus contains? See, we know that a nucleus contains neutrons and protons. Neutrons and protons. Okay. Neutrons are electrically neutral, whereas protons are positively charged particle. See, in the study of electrostatics, we know that a positive charge and another positive charge repel each other. That is, like charges repel each other. Okay. See, so many number of protons are inside the nucleus. Therefore, a very large repulsive Coulomb force exists between the protons. Due to this, nucleus would fly apart. But this could not happen. The nucleus and hence the atom is stable because of a force exists between the nucleons. This force is called the nuclear force. One may think that this force between the nucleus, between the nucleons, may be the gravitational force. But the gravitational force, see, the gravitational force is equal to 10 power minus 36 times the electrostatic force. It is very, very weak. So, therefore, the gravitational force fails to account the force between the nucleons. So, therefore, it is assumed that a force, a strong force exists between the nucleons. This strong force exists between the nucleons is called the nuclear force. Okay. So, is it clear? See, who binds the nucleons inside the nucleus? The force which binds the nucleons inside the nucleus is called nuclear force. So, due to the existence of nuclear force, so nucleons are inside the nucleus. See, next we move on to the characteristics of nuclear forces. See, let us study the characteristics of nuclear forces. See, characteristics of nuclear forces. Nuclear forces. See, nuclear forces are strongest forces in nature. Nuclear forces are strongest forces in nature. Strongest forces. See, there are four fundamental forces in nature: gravitational force, electromagnetic force, strong nuclear force, and weak nuclear force. Among all these, the strongest force in nature is the nuclear force. See, among all these fundamental forces, the strongest force in nature is the nuclear force. Okay. See, second one, nuclear forces are charge independent. See, nuclear forces are charge independent. Means that nuclear forces exist between two protons, a proton, another proton. Nuclear force exists between a neutron and another proton, and a neutron and another neutron. So, therefore, the nuclear forces are charge independent. They do not depend on the charge of the nucleon. Since neutrons have no charge, even neutrons have no charge, they are binds inside the nucleus. So, therefore, nuclear forces are charge independent. See, next one. Nuclear forces are short range forces. See, nuclear forces are short range forces. So, what is meant by short range forces? See, nuclear forces exist between the nucleons. Nucleons separated by a distance about 10 power minus 15 meter. If the nucleons are very near or very near, less than this value, then the nuclear forces become repulsive. So, therefore, nuclear forces are short range forces. See, the nuclear forces exist between the two nucleons separated by a distance equal to 10 power minus 15 meter. Okay. Next one, nuclear forces are spin dependent. See, nuclear forces are spin dependent. See, we have studied in the properties of nucleus the spin of the nucleus. Spin of the nucleus is the vector sum of orbital angular momentum and the spin angular momentum of the nucleus. See, if a nucleon has a spin, see, if two nucleons having parallel spin, then the nuclear forces between those two nucleons will be more than the two nucleons having anti-parallel spins. So, therefore, the nuclear forces are spin dependent. Okay. See the next one, nuclear forces are non-central forces. See next one, nuclear forces are non-central forces. Non-central forces means that the nuclear forces does not act along the line joining the two nucleons. Therefore, the nuclear forces are non-central forces. See the next one, nuclear forces are exchange forces. See, nuclear forces are exchange forces. Exchange forces. What does the nucleons exchange? See, Yukova proposed a theory which says that there is a particle which exchange between the two nucleons due to the exchange of the particle known as pions or pi mesons. Pions or pi mesons. Pi mesons. Nuclear forces exist between two nucleons due to the exchange of these particles known as pi mesons or simply pions. These may have charge 0, 0, plus E and minus E. See, due to the exchange of pi mesons, the nuclear forces exist between the two nucleons. See, inside the nucleus, a proton transformed into neutron in the field of pi minus meson. In the field of pi minus meson. Similarly, a neutron transformed into proton. See, a neutron transformed into proton in the presence of the field of pi plus meson. Okay. So, therefore, the nuclear forces are exchange forces. So, due to the exchange of mesons, pi mesons, the nuclear forces came into exist. See, a proton converted into neutron and a neutron converted into proton in the presence of field of pi minus and pi plus meson respectively. However, the total number of protons and neutrons inside the nucleus remains same. Okay. So, thus nuclear forces binds the nucleons inside the nucleus. So, nuclear forces are strongest forces in the nature, and nuclear forces are exchange forces. Okay. See what happens to a heavy nucleus if it contains a large number of nucleons. See, a heavy nucleus, see, in the study of binding energy curve, we studied that as the mass number of a nucleus increases, the binding energy per nucleon goes on decreasing. See, above the mass number 170, the nuclei are unstable or they have less binding energy. Therefore, a heavy nucleus spontaneously disintegrate together with the emission of certain radiation. This process is called radioactivity. See, what is radioactivity? See, radioactivity is a phenomenon. See, radioactivity is a phenomenon in which a heavy element or a nucleus spontaneously disintegrate together with the emission of certain radiations like alpha, beta, gamma. This phenomenon is known as radioactivity. See, in the case of natural radioactivity, there are three types of radiations emitted by a radioactive nucleus. See, which are those? See, alpha, beta and gamma radiations are emitted in case of natural radioactivity. See, a radioactive element emits these particles and disintegrate continuously till it reaches a stable element. Therefore, a radioactive element undergo series of disintegration. This is called the radioactive series. See, there are 4 important radioactive series. So, the first one, radioactive series. See, first one is uranium radioactive series. Second one, thorium series. Third one, actinium series. Fourth one, neptunium series. See, these are the 4 important radioactive series. Okay. See, let us see the comparative properties of a radioactive radiations. So, let us study comparative properties of radioactive radiations. Say, alpha, beta, gamma have certain mass, charge, etc. See, these properties are called the comparative properties of radioactive radiations. Say, first consider the property. See, this is property. Alpha particles, beta particles and gamma rays. Okay. See, the first property, the nature of alpha particles. What are alpha particles? Alpha particles are nothing but helium nucleus. See, alpha particle is nothing but helium nucleus. What are beta particles? See, beta particles are electrons fast moving electrons are called beta particles. What are gamma rays? Gamma rays are nothing but electromagnetic radiations. Electromagnetic radiations are photons. Okay. So, nature alpha particles are nothing but helium nucleus. Beta particles are fast moving electrons. Gamma rays are electromagnetic radiations or photons. See the next property, charge on alpha particle. Charge. What is the charge on alpha particle? See, charge on alpha particle is equal to 2 times the charge on proton. 2 times the charge on proton, or it can be written as 2 times charge on proton, E elementary charge. What is the charge on beta particle? Charge on beta particle is charge on beta to charge on an electron, whereas gamma rays carry no charge. See, charge on gamma rays is 0. Okay, next one is mass of alpha particles. Say, what is the mass of an alpha particle? Say, mass of alpha particle is equal to 4 times the mass of proton. Mass of beta particles. Mass of beta particle equal to the mass of an electron. So, mass of electron equal to the mass of beta particle. What is the mass of gamma radiations? See, the rest mass of gamma radiations is 0, or rest mass of a photon is 0. Okay. See, the next one is speed of alpha particles. Speed. See, speed of alpha particles is, see, velocity of alpha particle is equal to c by 20 meter per second, where c is speed of light in vacuum. So, the velocity of alpha particles is c by 20 meter per second. See, what is the velocity of beta particles? Velocity of beta particles is equal to 0.9 times the speed of light in vacuum. Okay. 0.9 times the speed of light in vacuum. Speed of gamma rays is equal to the speed of light in vacuum. Okay. See the next property, effect of electric and magnetic fields. Say, what is the effect of electric and magnetic fields on an alpha particle? See, if a alpha particle moves in electric field or in magnetic field, it is deflected. Since it has charge, therefore, it deflected due to the presence of electric and magnetic field. See, these particles are deflected. Whereas, beta particles also deflected in a direction opposite to that of alpha particles. These are also deflected, but opposite to that of alpha particles. Whereas gamma rays have no charge, therefore they do not deflected. Since they have no charge, therefore they do not deflected in electric and in magnetic fields. See, the next one is penetrating power. See, penetrating power of alpha particles is minimum. Penetrating power of alpha particles is minimum. See, penetrating power of beta particles is 100 times the penetrating power of alpha particles, whereas the penetrating power of gamma rays is 10,000 times the penetrating power of alpha particles. So, therefore, gamma rays have high penetrating power, high energetic rays, therefore, they have high penetrating power. So, next one is ionizing power. Ionizing power. See, ionizing power of alpha particles is maximum, whereas the ionizing power of beta particles is 1 by 100 times the ionizing power of alpha particles. Less, ionizing power of beta particles is less compared to the ionizing power of alpha particles. And even in the case of gamma rays, the ionizing power of gamma rays is very less compared to the ionizing power of alpha and beta particles. Say, ionizing power of gamma rays is equal to 1 by 10,000 times the ionizing power of alpha particles. So, therefore, the ionizing power of alpha particles is maximum and penetrating power of gamma rays is maximum. Alpha particles have high ionizing power and rays have very high penetrating power. Okay. Let us study radioactive laws. See, there are two laws of radioactivity. See, laws of radioactivity. See, the first one is Soddy's group displacement laws. Soddy's group displacement laws, and the second one is decay law. Okay, these are the two radioactive laws. See the first one, Soddy's group displacement laws. See, according to Soddy's group displacement laws, when a radioactive nucleus emits an alpha particle, see, suppose this is a radioactive nucleus of mass number A and atomic number Z. See, when it emits an alpha particle, its mass number decreases by 4 units and its atomic number decreases by 2 units with the emission of alpha particle. Okay. So, therefore, when a radioactive nucleus emits an alpha particle, its mass number decreases by 4 units and its atomic number decreases by 2 units. See, next one. See, when a radioactive nucleus emits a beta particle, its mass number unchanged, but its atomic number increases by 1 unit with the emission of beta particle. So, when a radioactive element emits a beta particle, its mass number unchanged and its atomic number increases by 1 unit. See, after the emission of alpha particle or beta particle, the radioactive nucleus will be in excited state. See, this is the excited nucleus. This is the excited nucleus. This excited nucleus emits gamma radiation and comes to the ground state. See, this is the stable nucleus with the emission of gamma ray photons. Okay. So, therefore, excited nucleus comes to the ground state so that its mass number and atomic number does not change with the emission of gamma ray photon. See, this is general law of radioactivity. See, the next one is the decay law. See, decay law. See, what says decay law? Radioactive decay law. It is known as radioactive decay law. See, according to radioactive decay law, the rate of disintegration of a radioactive nucleus. See, what does dN by dt represents? The dN by dt represents the rate of disintegration of a radioactive nucleus. See, the rate of disintegration of a radioactive nucleus is directly proportional to number of nuclei present in the sample at that time. Okay, with negative sign. See, negative sign indicates that the number of nuclei present in the sample decreases with time or disintegrates with time. So, therefore, dN by dt proportional to minus n. This is called decay law. So, decay law can be stated as the rate of disintegration of a radioactive nucleus is directly proportional to number of nuclei present in the sample at that instant. Therefore, dN by dt proportional to minus n. This law is called the radioactive decay law. So, using this law, we can find the number of nuclei present in the sample after a time interval t second. Let us derive an expression for number of nuclei present in the sample after a time t second. See, let n naught be the number of nuclei present in the sample, number of nuclei present in the sample at time t equal to 0 second. N naught. What is N naught? N naught represents the number of nuclei present in the sample at time t equal to 0. Let n be the number of nuclei present in the sample after a time t second. Okay. So, then according to decay law, dN by dt is directly proportional to minus n, number of nuclei present in the sample at that time n. Or this can be written as dN by dt is equal to minus lambda into n, where lambda is a proportionality constant known as decay constant. See, lambda is decay constant. We will define later what is decay constant. Okay. See, by rearranging the terms, we can rewrite this equation as dN by n is equal to minus lambda into dt. Okay. So, dN by n is equal to what? Minus lambda into dt. integrating this equation, see integrating on both sides. So therefore integration of dn by n is equal to integration of minus lambda into dt. Okay. See what is the integration of 1 over x into dx? See integration of 1 over x into dx is equal to log x to the base e. See using this equation, see we can write this as, see the integration of 1 by n into dn is log n to the base e is equal to, see the integration of dt, lambda is constant, integration of dt is t plus constant of integration. Okay. Call this equation number 1. So log n to the base e is equal to minus lambda into t plus constant of integration. Let us find the constant of integration c. See let at t equal to, see at t equal to 0 second, n equal to n naught. See at the time t equal to 0 second, number of atoms in the sample n naught. So therefore log n naught to the base e is equal to, see this is 0 plus c. See this n naught is written here, n naught time t equal to 0 plus constant of integration. So therefore c is equal to what? C is equal to log n naught to the base e. So now substitute this equation number 2 in equation number 1, that is the value of c. Now equation substitute the equation 2 in equation 1. See equation 1 becomes log n to the base e is equal to minus lambda into t plus see constant of integration, the value of constant of integration is log n naught to the base e. Take this log n naught base e to the left side. See n to the base e minus log n naught to the base e is equal to minus lambda into t. See this equation, see this term is in the form of log a minus log b. See what is log a minus log b? Log a minus log b is equal to log a by b, or log a by b, see log a by b to the base e is equal to log a minus log b to the base e. So using this we can write this equation as log n by n naught to the base e is equal to minus lambda into t. Okay. See now taking the exponential on both sides. See taking exponential on both sides, this equation can be written as n by n naught equal to e to the power minus lambda into t, or n is equal to n naught into e to the power minus lambda into t. See using decay law we derived this equation n equal to n naught into e to the power minus lambda into t. See this is a graph of number of atoms present in the sample at time t versus t. See this is the initial number of atoms, n naught. As the time increases, the number of atoms in the sample goes on decreasing exponentially, that is n is equal to n naught into e to the power minus lambda into t. Therefore radioactivity, in case of radioactivity, the number of atoms disintegrated by a radioactive nucleus is exponentially decreases. Okay, therefore, the equation n equal to n naught into e to the power minus lambda into t. See, let us define decay constant. See, what is decay constant? Say decay constant. Decay constant denoted by the symbol lambda. See, what is decay constant? See, in the equation n equal to n naught into e to the power minus lambda into t. Let t equal to, see, let lambda equal to 1 over t. Let lambda equal to what? 1 over t. So, equation becomes n equal to n naught into e to the power minus 1 or n equal to n naught by e. N equal to what? N naught by e. The value of e is n naught divided by 2.718 or it is 0.37 times n naught. So, in terms of percentage, it can be written as n equal to 37% of n naught. 37% of n naught. The number of atoms in the sample reduces to 37% of its initial value. So, this time is called the decay constant. So, decay constant is the reciprocal of the time during which the number of atoms in the sample reduces to 37% of its initial value. It is called decay constant. Okay. See, SI unit of decay constant is per second. See, SI unit of decay constant is per second. See, next we move on to half life of a radioactive element. See, what is half life? Half life. See, as the name itself indicates, half life means it is the time during which half of the number of atoms disintegrated in that time. This time is called the half life of a radioactive element. Let us derive an expression for half life of a radioactive element. See, half life T half life of a radioactive element is denoted by T half. Let us consider the equation n equal to n naught into e to the power minus lambda into t. See, let t equals to T half. Let t equals to T half. See, when t is equal to T half, n is equal to what? N naught by 2. See, from the definition of half-life, see, for half-life time period, half-life, the number of atoms becomes half of the initial number of atoms present in the sample. Okay. So, therefore, this equation becomes n is equal to what? N naught by 2 is equal to n naught into e to the power minus lambda into T half. Okay. See, n naught cancels. 1 by 2 is equal to e to the power minus lambda into T half, or it can be written as e to the power lambda into T half is equal to 2. Taking log on both sides, this becomes lambda into T half equal to log 2 to the base e. See, log 2 to the base e, it is in natural logarithm. Convert it into or express it into common logarithms by multiplying 2.303. So, therefore, lambda into T half equals to 2.303 into log 2 to the base 10. See, lambda into T half equals to what? 2.303 into log 2 to the base 10. See, lambda into T half equal to 2.303 into log 2. See, the value of log 2 is 0.3010 or T half equals to 0.693 divided by lambda. See, this is the expression for half-life of a radioactive element. So, half-life T half is equal to 0.693 divided by lambda. Therefore, the half-life of a radioactive element is inversely proportional to decay constant. See, half-life of a radioactive element is inversely proportional to decay constant. See, then what is mean life or average life of a radioactive element? See, average life or mean life of a radioactive element is the reciprocal of decay constant. See, it can be shown that the average life or mean life of a radioactive element is the reciprocal of decay constant. Mean life of a radioactive element is defined as the ratio of the lifetime of all the individual nucleons present in the nucleus or the particles present in the nucleus to the total number of nucleons. This ratio is called the average life or mean life. See, then what is the relation between half-life and mean life? See these two equations. T half-life is equal to what? T half-life is equal to 0.693 by lambda. See, T mean life equal to what? 1 over lambda. So, therefore, it is T mean life into 0.693. So, T half-life is equal to T mean life into 0.693. Therefore, T mean life is greater than T half-life. See, this is the relation between T half-life and T mean life. See, SI unit of radioactivity. The SI unit of radioactivity is becquerel. This is the symbol BQ, becquerel. See, 1 becquerel is equal to 1 disintegration per second. It is called 1 becquerel. Okay. So, 1 becquerel equal to what? 1 disintegration per second. It is called 1 becquerel. See, one more unit known as practical unit of radioactivity, that is Curie. See, practical unit of radioactivity is Curie. In symbol this is Ci. See, 1 Curie is equal to 3.7 into 10 power 10 disintegrations per second. See, what is 1 Curie? 1 Curie equals to 3.7 into 10 power 10 disintegrations per second. So, therefore, 1 Curie is equal to 3.7 into 10 power 10 becquerel. See, 1 Curie is equal to 3.7 into 10 raised to 10 becquerel. Okay. So, SI unit of radioactivity is becquerel and practical unit of radioactivity is Curie. So, let us study alpha decay. See, what is an alpha particle? Alpha particle is nothing but helium nucleus. See, we have studied the comparative properties of alpha, beta, gamma radiations. In that we studied the alpha rays are nothing but the helium nucleus. Okay. See, when a radioactive element or a nucleus emits an alpha particle. See, when a radioactive element, see X is a radioactive element of mass number A and atomic number Z, its mass number decreases by 4 units and its atomic number decreases by 2 units with the emission of alpha particle. See, for example, see uranium 23892 emits an alpha particle, become thorium 23490 plus alpha particle. Okay. This is called the alpha decay. So, a radioactive element emits an alpha particle, its mass number decreases by 4 units and its atomic number decreases by 2 units. We can find the energy carried by the product nucleus and the alpha particle as follows. See, the energy, this energy is called the Q value. See, the Q value of this process is equal to the difference in initial mass energy of reactants minus the final mass energy of products. So, that is mass of X, nucleus X, minus mass of nucleus Y minus mass of alpha particle into C square. This is called Q value of this process. See, this energy is carried by the product nucleus and the alpha particle. The energy is appeared in the form of kinetic energy of the alpha particle. See, this process is called the alpha decay. Okay, next beta decay. See, next we move on to beta decay. See, what is beta decay? See, beta particles are nothing but the electrons. See, when a radioactive element spontaneously disintegrates a electron or a beta particle, it is said to be undergo a beta decay. See, as in the case of P32 15 emits a beta particle, becomes S32 16 with the emission of electron and one more particle known as antineutrino. See, this type of decay is called negative beta decay. See, this is called beta negative decay. Similarly, beta positive decay. Beta positive decay. See, in the case of beta positive decay, Na2211 emits a beta positive particle, that is positive beta decay, emits positron, becomes Ne2210, see E plus 1 0 plus neutrino emitted. See, this E plus, it is called positron. This is the anti-particle of electron. See, these two particles, nu bar and nu, are called antineutrino and neutrino. See, these particles are emitted during beta negative decay and beta positive decay. See, when a proton inside the nucleus converted into neutron. See, when a proton converted into neutron with the emission of an electron and antineutrino. Similarly, a neutron converted into proton with the emission of positron plus neutrino. So, a proton converted into neutron with the emission of electron and antineutrino, and neutron converted into proton with the emission of positron plus the neutrino. So, this is called the beta decay. So, in the case of beta decay, neutron converted into proton and proton converted into neutron. See, next gamma decay. See, after the emission of beta particle or a gamma particle, a radioactive nucleus will be in the excited state. See, for example, XZA is a radioactive nucleus in the excited state. This excited nucleus comes to the ground state by emitting one or more gamma ray photons. This process is called gamma decay. See, XZA, a mass number and Z atomic number of the excited nucleus. See, after the emission of gamma ray photon, mass number and atomic number doesn't change. See, this is gamma ray photon. See, for example, in the case of cobalt 60, 27 emits a beta particle. This is beta particle will be in the excited state. The nucleus N 6028 will be in the excited state. This excited nucleus comes to the ground state by the emission of two gamma ray photons. See, this is one gamma ray photon and this is another gamma ray photon of different energy. This is about 1.17 MeV and this is about 1.37 MeV. So, therefore, in case of gamma decay, a excited nucleus emits a gamma ray photon or more than one gamma ray photon and comes to the ground state.